The Discourses of Christ of the Last Days.
Words on Performing a Duty. Excerpt. Some people never behave themselves when it comes to their duties. Instead, they constantly seek out new things to distinguish themselves and spout high-sounding ideas. Is this a good thing? Can they collaborate harmoniously with others? If someone spouts high-sounding views, what kind of disposition is that?
Arrogance and self-righteousness.
It is arrogance and self-righteousness. What is the nature of their actions?
They are seeking to establish their independence, to fly their own colors, and to set up their own faction.
Setting up their own faction means making other people obey them, and not handle matters according to the truth principles. Their intention and aim is to establish their independence and fly their own colors. So there is a sense of disturbing the order of things to their actions. What does it mean to disturb the order of things? It signifies causing destruction. There is a nature of disruption and disturbance to it. Typically, the majority of problems can be solved through group fellowship and discussions, with most of the decisions that are made adhering to the truth principles, being both correct and precise. However, some people persistently resist this consensus. Not only do they avoid seeking the truth, they disregard the interests of God's house. They expound strange theories to stand out and make others esteem them. They want to contradict the correct decisions that have been made and to refute the choices everyone has made. This is what it means to disturb the order of things and to cause destruction, to create disruptions and disturbances. This is the essence of spouting high-sounding ideas. So what is the issue with this kind of behavior? First, they are revealing a corrupt disposition and a complete lack of submission. Additionally, these willful people always want to stand out and make others esteem them, and as a result, they disrupt and disturb the work of the church. Without the truth, they are incapable of seeing through to things. Yet they persist in spouting high-sounding ideas to show themselves off, not seeking the truth in the slightest. Is this not being arbitrary and reckless? In order to fulfill one's duties well, learning to collaborate with others is essential. A discussion between two people always engenders a more comprehensive and accurate perspective than one person's view on things. If someone always wants to act in a nonconformist way, or habitually spouts high-sounding ideas in order to make others follow them, this is dangerous. This is walking down one's own path. One must discuss everything they do with others. Listen first to what everyone else has to say. If the majority view is right and accords with the truth, you should accept it and obey it. Whatever you do, do not spout high-sounding views. Doing so is never a good thing in any group of people. When you preach a high-sounding idea, if it's in line with the truth principles and has the majority's approval, it might be considered acceptable. However, if it contradicts the truth principles and is detrimental to the church's work, you must bear responsibility for it and face the consequences of your actions. Additionally, spouting high-sounding ideas is a dispositional issue. It proves that you do not have the truth reality and that you are instead living on the basis of your corrupt disposition. When you spout high-sounding views, you are trying to lead others, to be in command, and you are also trying to fly your own colors and to set up your own domain. You want to make God's chosen people all listen to you, follow you, and obey you. This is walking the path of an antichrist. Are you certain you can guide God's chosen people to enter into the truth realities? Can you lead them into God's kingdom? You lack the truth yourself and are capable of doing things to resist and betray God. If you still want to lead God's chosen people down this path, have you not then become an arch-sinner? Paul became an arch-sinner and is still enduring God's punishment. If you walk the path of an antichrist, you are walking the path of Paul, and your final outcome and end will be no different from his. Therefore, those who believe in and follow God must not spout high-sounding ideas. Rather, they must learn to seek the truth, to accept it, and to submit to both the truth and to God. Only by doing this can they ensure that they do not go their own way, and that they can follow God without deviating in either direction. God's house requires people to harmoniously cooperate in the performance of their duties. This is meaningful, and it is also the correct path of practice. In the Church, it is possible that the Holy Spirit's enlightenment and guidance may come upon any one of those who understand the truth and who have the comprehension ability. You should grab hold of the Holy Spirit's enlightenment and illumination, following it closely and cooperating intimately with it. In doing so, you will be walking the most correct path. It is the path guided by the Holy Spirit. Pay special attention to how the Holy Spirit works in and guides those who He works upon. You should often fellowship with others, making suggestions and expressing your own views. This is your duty and your freedom. But in the end, when a decision is to be made, if it is you alone who makes the final verdict, having everyone do as you say and go along with your will, then you are violating the principles. You should make the correct choice based on what the majority thinks, and then make the decision. If the suggestions of the majority do not accord with the truth principles, you should hold to the truth. Only this accords with the truth principles. If you are always spouting high-sounding views, trying to expound some sophisticated theories to impress others, and, in fact, you feel in your heart that this is wrong, then don't force yourself into the spotlight. Is this the duty you should perform? What is your duty?
To do everything in my power to perform the duty that I ought to, and to only talk about what I comprehend. If I don't have my own opinion, I should learn to listen more to everyone else's suggestions, to discern wisely and reach the point where I can cooperate harmoniously with everyone.
If nothing is clear to you and you have no opinion, learn to listen and obey, and to seek the truth. This is the duty you should perform. This is a well-behaved attitude. If you have no opinions of your own and are always afraid of looking foolish, of not being able to distinguish yourself, and of being humiliated, if you fear being disdained by the others and having no place in their hearts, and so you always try to force yourself into the spotlight and always want to spout high-sounding ideas, putting forward some absurd assertions that do not correspond with reality, which you would have others accept. Are you performing your duty? What are you doing? You are being destructive. When you notice someone constantly acting in such a manner, you must set limitations on them. And how should the limits be set? You need not completely silence them, nor withhold any opportunity for them to speak. You can let them fellowship, and they should not be excluded, but everyone around them should exercise discernment. This is the principle. For instance, if someone puts forward an incorrect viewpoint that completely aligns with man's notions and imaginings, and the majority endorse and agree with that person, but a few people who have a bit of discernment can detect that their viewpoint is adulterated with their will and their ambitions and desires, then these individuals should expose that person and get them to self-reflect and know themselves. This is the correct approach. If no one exercises discernment or voices their opinion, and everyone just acts like people pleasers, there will inevitably be those who will lick that person's boots, endorse and support them, thereby fueling that person's ambitions and desires. That person will then begin to really gain power in the church. This is when it becomes dangerous, as they could join together with those that support them, becoming a force of their own, doing evil and disturbing the church's work. In this way, they will have set foot on the path of antichrists. Once they seize control of the church, they will become an antichrist and begin establishing their own independent kingdom.